Welcome to the Let's Get Vulnerable podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Morgan, and today's episode is a vulnerable one from my heart to you. I am going to open up about where I'm at in my journey towards saying I do. I can't believe it. How is it? 60 days. My gosh, I am so excited. I have just been rewriting this narrative that wedding planning has to be stressful. I've been finding ways to enjoy it and really just kind of savor the moments of picking out the cupcakes, picking out the flowers, picking out all the outfits, right? I am just so grateful that I've been able to be present during this process. It's been enjoyable and I feel very supported. And I know how rare it is to have a partner that is with you in this process. I feel like the stereotype is that the woman does everything. That is not the case in my relationship. My fiance is actively involved. And I think it's a testament to the type of relationship that we have, the type of marriage that we will have. We are partners. And he's been helping a lot with picking the food. That was, of course, his favorite thing. But just honestly, the emotional support, the accountability, he has been with me every step of the way. I'm so grateful to have a partner that shows up that way and that doesn't say, like, oh, that's for you to figure out. He's like, no, we're in this together. Let's do it together. And whether or not he's excited about the flower arrangements, he obviously has less preferences than I do, but he still shows up with being present and treating things with importance when I bring them up to him, even if it's not his favorite thing. So shout out to my fiance for making wedding planning a breeze. And I want to jump into this episode, starting off with the first real truth of what it is to step into this season. And that is this. No one talked about this with me ever. As you are approaching the day of your wedding, you're planning this special day and you're planning obviously who is going to be there, who is part of the wedding, who is helping you. There's this huge emphasis on, okay, who are the important people in your life that you can trust to show up for you. So many incredible people that have come together to support me, my twin sister, my good friends. Shout out to one of my amazing clients who's become a friend who's actually going to do my makeup at the wedding, Phoebe. I have this incredible community of people, and there are people that I had always thought were going to be part of my wedding. Friends from, whether it was from high school even or college, and then even more recently, friends who were really, really close to me that are no longer in my life. And there are people that will not be there. And that is something that I have decided to grieve, to allow myself to feel, to acknowledge it, and to, as much as I can, do that before the wedding day. And obviously, the absence of people, there can be different reasons, right? For example, I have a close friend of mine that passed away, right? And that happened in 2020. And this was one of my best friends. And he died by suicide. And it's this traumatic, horrible thing that I've experienced. And he is not going to be there. And I have had a lot of grief about that. I've had a lot of realization of, wow, this is someone who obviously would have been a big part of this, who would have even wanted to be involved in picking out the dress. And he was just such a bright light and so much fun to be around and such a big part of my life. And now not having him at the wedding, I know that that's an absence that will be felt. And then there's other friends that, in particular, one of my girlfriends that I was incredibly close with for years, for over, oh gosh, almost about 8, 9 years. And this person all of a sudden left my life. And there's all kinds of reasons for why that happened. It was a codependent friendship, ultimately an unhealthy dynamic, but somebody who I had gave and gave and gave to, and it was a non-reciprocal relationship. I wasn't really getting much back. And then this person just up and left my life. And this was that girlfriend that I used to talk about my wedding with. We used to talk about what kind of dresses we would want, where we would want it, what kind of ceremony, da da da. When I'm your maid of honor, do 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 do. We would. That's what I know. Guys don't do this, but as women, and I maybe some guys do. To be fair, guys, if you're listening, you can let me know. Do you chat with your guy friends about your wedding day and what that's going to be like? Would love to know. Um, but it was something that I talked about with her, and then to come to this realization that, wow, this person is no longer in my life to the point where we are no longer on speaking terms. Haven't spoken to or seen this person in 5 years. I think it just hits you different when you go, wow, this was a moment that I expected this person to be there and they won't be there. And there's a different level of grief that comes up as you're realizing that. And it's like you can know it logically, but then to feel it emotionally is something different. And then obviously the other grief that I have close family members who have passed. I have my Aunt Mary passed away from liver cancer, and she was incredibly, incredibly close to myself and my twin sister. And she won't be there. And she was the person who was super crafty, really, really great at weddings, at just pulling things together and making things look beautiful. And she was such an anchor in our family. And she won't be there. And then, of course, one of the biggest pieces that I'm grieving is the relationship with my mom, and my mom not being able to be present for this day. And it's one of those things that, once again, I kind of have known this logically, but it hits on a whole other level when you start to feel it emotionally. And I think I've gotten to this place in my life where I am sad about like me in terms of I don't get to have the experience of having my mom, but I also have my incredible Aunt Peggy who raised me, and I have women in my life who've stepped up and have really been able to help mother me, including myself. Um, so I don't as much feel this void or abandonment or the wound that I used to carry around, right? That I literally felt like something was wrong with me and that I was abandoned and I wasn't good enough. My brain had all kinds of crazy beliefs about not having a mother and what that meant, etc., that were, of course, unconscious until I uncovered them. But it's not so much that. The thing that makes me sad now is I actually think about my mom and I think about everything that she missed out on and just how, you know, the age I am now is the age that she was, right? When she had a traumatic brain injury and our lives were completely changed. And I just can't imagine life being over at this age. And I can't imagine the pain of just not being able to be there, right? Like her not being able to be there for my sister getting married, her not being able to be there for her grandkids, my sister's kids, her not being able to be there to see me graduate with my doctorate in clinical psychology, her not being able to be there for my wedding her not being able to be there to meet my incredible fiance and to know that her daughter has an incredible life. So I think about that, and that's the thing that causes me the most pain. But I'll tell you this, my spiritual life has helped me so much with this because I do connect with my mom, and I do believe that my mom is present. And I do have this relationship with her, even though she's not here physically. So all of these emotions coming up. And by the way, I was like, when I went to go try on my wedding dress, I was like, I'm good. This is celebration, this is joy. And then there was something about standing in the wedding dress and looking around at the people there and all, my friends, they're beautiful, my sister, my niece. And then just having it hit me though that my mom wasn't there. And that hit me so emotionally that I could have never prepared for it logically, right? And I just think the biggest gift that I've given myself pre-wedding is making space for the grief and allowing the grief to be there alongside the joy. It can coexist. If I was pushing it away, if I was numbing it, if I was trying to distract from it, I think it would just get bigger. It would come out sideways. I think there's a reason why we talk about bridezillas, right? What if bridezillas is actually just women who have numbed their emotional experience about getting married, and then it's just coming out. It's all coming out on the wedding day when they're so stressed, right? I am proud of myself for making space to feel the things that I need to feel as I go on this journey. So I just want to acknowledge that grief has been part of it for me, of acknowledging the people who I always thought would be there and then they're not there. And I'm doing some sweet things to remember these people. I will be having a in memoriam table, right? I'll have a picture of my mom and my friend Anthony and my Aunt Mary, just to know that they are still there. It's going to represent that even though their physical bodies are not there, that they are there in spirit. I just want to normalize because honestly, I think sometimes there's so much out there about just feel positive, just be positive all the time and feel all the good feelings. And absolutely, I believe in being intentional with our energy, creating more good feelings in our lives. And grief is valid. I think when you push grief away, when you try to avoid it, it can make you sick. It can make you depressed. It can really cause havoc in your life. So I never want to be someone that says, oh, good vibes only, right? There's too much toxic positivity out there. So I wanted to be honest with you all. As I'm approaching my wedding, I'm also going through this feeling of grief and grieving the people that I thought would be there. So the next thing I want to talk about, the second truth, if you will, of what I'm going through, um, is really having this amazing relationship with my partner and knowing that the two of us have fully committed to each other already, that we show up every single day to work on our relationship, that we believe in partnership and growing together and having tough conversations and making sure that we're always communicating about what our needs are. And a lot of you who listen to the show, you know that we do our solo time, right? I've talked about solo Saturdays, and we've done a really good job of maintaining secure connection while also maintaining our individual identities. And I think one of the things that I know is going to shift is I'm taking on this identity now of being someone's wife. And that is different. I don't think there's anything that I can do to fully prepare myself for what that will feel like to be Mrs. Minor, to be, oh, you are Robert's wife. I think that there is something different about that. And I know that thanks to all the work that we have done in our relationship, to the fact that we do have this loving, secure attachment, I know that we're going to navigate these changes together. We're going to figure it out together, right? He's also becoming a husband. And really, all in all, we just have a lot of joy. We have a lot of joy about it. And we have a lot of joy about intentionally coming together in a lifelong commitment. I'm kind of laughing because we bought a house together. We've done like real estate stuff together. And let me tell you, the amount of like assets that we have combined, yes, I know that marriage and like I said, the title, the identity shift is going to be big, but we also have already committed ourselves. And we've been able to do that because of secure attachment, because of taking our time in building a really healthy foundation. We've already really connected our lives. And I just think that there's going to be ways that marriage changes us that we don't even know what those ways will be. But I do know that we're going into it with a really good foundation and that we have both decided to grow together. Esther Perel has that incredible quote that you will likely be with 7 different lovers in your life. And if you're very lucky, it'll be the same person. And I believe that to my core, that we grow, we change, we become different people. And the cool thing is that Robert and I have both done that in the 4 years of being together. We've grown and changed and evolved, and we've been able to hold on to our relationship and hold on to each other as those changes have taken place and to support one another in the changes. So I feel really, really confident about where we're headed. And I know that there's things that will feel different that you can't put words to, that I will only feel once I'm married. So stay tuned for after the wedding when I come back and I'll tell you guys exactly what that feels like and what it really means. I think the other thing I want to just acknowledge about this season of marriage is that I'm really proud of myself that I let go of a long time ago of the idea that secure equals perfect. My fiance and I, yes, we have days where we don't show up great. I shouldn't say days, it's more like moments, um, times where we miss the mark, times where someone is sick or someone is really, really stressed out and they're not able to show up at their best. But the thing that we do is we always repair and we repair quickly and we come through anything that's challenging. We come through it stronger and as a team. And I think the young 20 something me, or even 25, 26, 27, basically all of my 20s, I had this idea that marriage was perfect, that you never fought, that you had this loving relationship always, and that nothing was ever hard. And that's just not what relationships are. But what I love so much is that when you start to realize that the growth is a gift, that you showing up for your partner, you going through the tough things together, that actually just enriches the relationship, that it actually just makes you better individuals, then you're not so afraid of conflict. You're not so afraid of the tough conversations. you have that secure attachment, you know that you can get through anything that comes your way. And I think that it's just such a gift to go into marriage not thinking that marriage has to be perfect. And honestly, I wouldn't want perfect. I think that the more you live your life and the more you heal, you realize that perfect doesn't exist and that it's boring, right? It's like through the growth, through the ways that we bump up against each other, through the ways that maybe some of our woundings get activated, through the ways that we feel scared to be seen, but we show up anyways, that all of it is so beautiful. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. There is such a peace and security in knowing that I am with someone that I know that no matter what we go through, we will show up together and we will show up not afraid to see one another, not afraid to communicate, not afraid to be vulnerable and express our needs, that we'll show up authentically and we'll both show up and we'll both be giving to the relationship. So I think this is something people don't talk about, that if you don't have the secure foundation, if you don't have that peace in your heart of knowing that, hey, yeah, we can weather hard conversations, we can get through tough stuff. If you don't have that, I think getting married would be absolutely terrifying. I think, and hey, I've been through this. I've been through this where I didn't have a secure foundation and I was the runaway bride. Okay. That's a whole other story someday, guys. Um, I've been there because it's terrifying. Marriage is a commitment. But when you have a foundation of secure attachment, of trusting one another to show up, and you have the evidence that, hey, we can get through hard things, I think marriage is a beautiful decision, a deepening of connection, a deepening of commitment. And I'm just grateful that that's where I'm at, that this is a season of joy with my partner and I, that there's really not fear about who am I marrying or is this going to work out? I know I'm marrying the right person. And honestly, I don't think younger me ever thought that was possible, considering I had a couple, engagements and almost marriages. I think I just kind of thought I was Julia Roberts in Runaway Bride and that it would just always feel terrible and I would never get to this peaceful place, you know? I need to go rewatch that movie, by the way. Richard Gere, such a good movie. Um, I'm just very, very grateful. And honestly, if you're listening to this and you're like, Dr. Morgan, I relate, I need to work on myself, I can't create the secure foundation. I don't know if I've ever had the secure foundation in a relationship. I want you to know you don't have to do this work alone. Please, please, please know that you deserve to be supported. You deserve to have a proven framework. I am here for you. All you have to do is go apply to the program. We have the Empowered, Secure, Loved 8-week relationship program. This will help you rewire your brain, heal your nervous system, become securely attached, and fully release your past trauma. So don't try to do this alone. It is impossible. Go use the link in the show notes to apply. Okay, there's something else I want to talk to you about, my truth here. So, preparing a wedding, obviously, there's a financial investment piece. You have a budget, and I don't think anyone ever talks about this, but you have to, at least in my case, right? I don't have someone paying for my wedding. My fiance and I are paying for it ourselves. And we have wonderful support from people covering the rehearsal dinner. And I'm not here to say that like no one is helping at all, but the majority of it is my fiance and I. And I think what no one has talked about is the conversations you have with your partner as you are setting a budget for your wedding and what's important to you and what are the things that, okay, maybe we don't actually need that thing. What are the things that are an absolute must for you? Hello, I need a miniature donkey at my wedding. Okay. I'm looking up this donkey. His name is Poncho. He's a miniature donkey. He brings you your drinks during the reception. This is an absolute non negotiable for me. All right. So, just as an example, right, there's things that we have different opinions on, but I'm so grateful because I think that it's really forced us to have money conversations and to look at creating a budget together, to look at priorities together. And I'm just really proud of us that it's been totally transparent. It's been like very, very important to me that we are open and honest and clear about money and priorities and the things that we need and how we will pay for things. And we've been able to do it as a team. We've been able to do it respectfully. And you guys, my fiance is such an angel because your girl here, you guys know this. I definitely, how do I put this? I wouldn't say that I'm high maintenance, but I'm not low maintenance. Okay. I have to get my hair done. I have to get my nails done. I have a lot of skincare things that are non negotiable. And in the wedding prep, I'm doing like an extra face laser. I'm going to go get this Moxie laser done from my girl, Stephanie, here in town. And my fiance has been so supportive of this. He's like, absolutely. I want you to look and feel your best on the wedding day. That is so important. 100%. We need to include that in the budget. You guys. And I just love that we've been able to have these open, honest conversations. So I sometimes feel like when it comes to weddings, people, I don't know how people are paying for it other than I guess if your parents pay for it. Um, I just think that people just kind of expect it to happen, or I guess people expect that you just take out a bunch of credit card debt. But we have been so good about saying, hey, these are the things that matter. These are the things that absolutely do not matter. And this is the budget. This is what we feel good with. And this is the type of ceremony and celebration that we want to have. And it feels really, really good knowing that I have a partner in this because obviously him and I have talked about money before. We actually look at each other's bank accounts. We know every single financial detail about the other person. And that was something that we started probably about a year ago. I think after we got engaged, actually, is when we really started to know everything about each other's finances. Um, but I can't tell you just how much of a relief that is and just how much peace it has brought our relationship to be able to approach finances as a team and with openness and honesty and no judgment. Just, hey, how are we going to figure this out as a team? And I can tell you that we do. We do. And it's been honestly, the budgeting for the wedding has been such this confirmation of, yes, this is my person. We work so well together. We figure it out together. We're a team, right? Same with all the planning. Going through the wedding preparation with him as my partner is this beautiful gift from God that is showing me that, yes, this is my person because I feel safe. I feel seen. I feel understood. We're able to communicate, even if something's challenging, even if we're exhausted from all the things going on in life, we still show up and we have really, really easy conversations. All right. The third thing that I don't think people talk about that I'll be honest with is no one prepared me for my body image stuff coming back up of I think how do I say this? I have really worked on healing the relationship that I have with my body. And in the last year and a half. I've done this very, very slowly, but I've worked on balancing my hormones, reducing my cortisol levels, focusing on eating protein and whole foods and moving my body every single day. And I actually have lost probably about 25 to 30 pounds. I don't know if you all have noticed this or not. I don't know how much attention you pay to those things, but I feel really, really good. I feel like I have great energy. I feel good in my body. And the thing that is fascinating to me is I still, when I got in my wedding dress and I'm trying on my wedding dress, there was still this tiny little voice that was like, oh my gosh, your shoulders look like too muscular, right? And it was so crazy to me because I was like, what? What? And I just had to say, okay, I hear you. I hear you. And I hear that you have, all this comparison and there's these beliefs about, oh, you're supposed to be tiny bride or you're supposed to look a certain way in the wedding dress. And I just want you to know that you are so, so beautiful and you are so loved and you are so worthy of love and that you are uniquely you and that there's nobody like you and you're so, so beautiful. And I had to speak to myself in that way because I do think subconsciously there's all these messages that we get as women about what we're quote unquote supposed to look like in our wedding dress. And the old stories in my head about, oh, you have to be thinner, you have to be tinier. Um, Even this one was surprising to me about, oh, you have to be younger. You're 35. Who cares about a 35-year-old getting married? And it was like this BS story that my brain was telling me about me not being good enough because I waited. And I had to do all this belief work around this and just remind myself I'm so worthy of love. This is such an important celebration. This is a beautiful next chapter for me. I deserve to be celebrated and that my timeline is my timeline. That God had such a plan in mind when he reconnected my partner and he gave us 4 years together before getting married to build a beautiful, loving, secure foundation so that we could walk into this next season of marriage feeling really confident, feeling very, very good in our relationship, right? And that my timeline compared to other people's timelines, right? It's not worth it. It's not worth it to compare. No one has lived my journey, right? The reality is this. I remind myself this. I could have gotten married many times. As I've mentioned on this episode, there was a couple of times where I called off the wedding, called off the engagement, and I could have been married. I could have checked the box, could have gotten married just to get married. And there was this knowing inside of me, there was this intuition that it wasn't right, that it wasn't healthy, and that I wasn't healthy, that I wasn't emotionally available, I wasn't secure, that it wasn't the right thing to do. So I didn't, right? And the fact that my story is that I took the time to heal my heart. I took the time to become securely attached. I took the time to become the version of me that could welcome in my adoring, loving, kind, emotionally available fiance and that we got to have our own love story and now we're getting married, right? That doesn't make me any less worthy. That doesn't make my story any less worthy of being celebrated. I can say that I intentionally chose to heal and that I get to celebrate bringing in this love into my life and the love that we are creating together in this next chapter. Um, and what's interesting is like, I had never thought about this before for anyone else. I've never thought about like, oh, she's too old to get married. Like I'll see people get married in their 50s, their 60s, even their 70s. And I'm always, always so exciting. Like I'm like, yes, go. That's amazing, right? Like I always want to celebrate love. So I was so shocked when that little belief popped up for me. But I just want to give you the example. I always say this to my clients: new levels, new devils. That's why when you do the Empowered Secure Love program, you have lifetime access to the course, because there's always going to be belief work that we need to do at different levels of our life. So as I'm approaching marriage, as I'm becoming the wife, the mother, all the things, I have to do the belief work that supports me in these new levels of my life. And I'm letting go of the story that I'm not skinny enough, that I'm too old. I'm letting go of all of that. And I know this, that I am already worthy of love, and that my story deserves to be celebrated, and I deserve to be celebrated. That's a hard one for me, but I deserve to be celebrated. So maybe you're listening to this. Maybe you have had some of those same thoughts. Maybe you're that person that loves to celebrate other people, but it's hard for you to take up space. If that's you, I'm sending you so much love. And I want you to know that you are enough and that you do deserve to be celebrated. So, the final thing I want to talk to you about that came up for me was that I just really, really, in getting to this place of realizing, oh, wow, I am getting married, is this identity rebirth. I feel like I am fully shedding past versions of me. It's been the weirdest thing. Like, I have had memories coming up from past relationships, things that I haven't thought about in years, situations, conversations that were had. It's wild, and I know why my brain is doing it. My brain is realizing, okay, it's this thing, right? It's called an extinction burst, that as you are fully letting go of an old behavior, as you're fully shedding a past identity, things can come up all at once that remind you of that old behavior, that old identity, because your brain's like, are you sure? Look at all this. Look at all this. Are you sure you want to fully let this go? And I have been so grateful to be at this place where I go, yes, I am letting this go. I'm letting go of the drama, letting go of the stress of my dating life. I'm letting go of that version of me that was just waiting to be chosen to know that she was good enough. I'm letting go of that disorganized attachment style that defined me for so long. I'm letting go of all of it and fully releasing it as I step into the secure wife. And what does that mean to be the securely attached wife? The reality is I know this about identity. We cannot fully step into who we are becoming until we have fully let go of the past versions of ourselves. And in fully releasing your past, in fully letting go of past relational trauma, that's the only way that you can then step into new versions, new levels, right? And it's not to say that old things never resurface or that you never have a moment where you're triggered, but you have to intentionally say, this is no longer me. That version of me, like I said, the version that was dating the same type of person over and over again, but with a different haircut, that so desperately wanted to be loved, not because of an actual desire, but out of a neediness to heal the past, right? Out of this unhealed repetition compulsion where I wanted somebody to finally heal me. That version of me is being fully let go of. And it feels really, really good. It feels really, really good. And I am very excited about my secure wife era, and honestly, what that means for you all on Let's Get Vulnerable. And I know this, that the more that I heal, the more I can help you all as well. So I'm excited about what that means for our content on this podcast. Maybe at some point I'll convince my husband to come on. I know you all want to meet him. But just stepping into this new era, and I have to say this to all of my OG followers out there. I love you. Thanks for being here on the journey. Can you believe it? I'm getting married. Can you actually believe it? I love the support of this community. It means the world to me just to have had you all along for the ride and for you to be able to know that as you've been healing, I've been healing too. And I'm in it with you. I am in it with you. And I hope my story really gives you hope that you can know, yes, love is possible. Secure, healthy love, no matter your past, it's possible, right? And once again, if this resonated with you, if you are done with the drama, if you're ready to shed your old identity and step into your secure self, go apply to the Empowered Secure Love program. The link is in the show notes. It takes 2 minutes. Don't wait. Honestly, this is the best time. I know some of you will tell a story about, oh, it's summer, whatever. But hey, like it doesn't change until you change. And also, this is the perfect time to say, I am making space for me. I'm taking some time for me and I'm doing the deep, deep work that I need to do. This could be the summer that changes everything for you. This could be the summer that you finally decide that you're worthy of doing this work on yourself. You're worthy of becoming secure and stepping into that next level identity. Obviously, I would love to support you. I'm so honored. I've been getting so many messages and emails and DMs and people having babies. I've seen some of the original ESL women are having babies. That's pretty cool. I love it. I just am so, so grateful. And I want you to know I'm not any different than you, right? If I can do this, you can do it. You can 100% do it. So go apply. Don't wait. I'm calling you out, especially those of you that have been on the fence. What are you doing? Like those of you that have listened to the podcast for more than 6 months and you've been like, yeah, I should apply, but I don't know. Is now the right time? Da 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 da. All those excuses. Do yourself a favor and just take the action. Okay. Go apply, have the conversation, get the information. If it's the right fit for you, move forward. If it's not, we'll refer you to something that could be better fit. Just take the action. Don't sit in ambivalence. Okay. I'm sending you so much love. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Two things. Hopefully, my voice was not too bothersome to you. I'm getting over a cold and I was doing my best to still show up and speak well, but I know my throat is not great. So hopefully, it sounds okay. And then, number two, if you're looking on YouTube, you may have noticed I have an orange tongue. I just realized I was like, maybe at some point people saw my tongue and they were like, what the heck is that? It's just a supplement. It's like a calming magnesium, some sort of supplement that I was experimenting with, and it turned my tongue orange. Okay. Um, just want to put that out there. So, anyways, I love you. I'm proud of you. I hope this episode really resonated with you. I'm going to be diving into some episodes about healing after breakups and what breakups are really about. And then we're also going to do some more attachment style focused content coming up. So I'm really excited for you. I think you're going to love those upcoming episodes. All right, y'all. I'm sending you so much love. Thanks for being part of my community here. Thanks for holding space for me. And I hope that there's parts of this share that really resonated with you. I just want you to know that you're so, so worthy of love. No matter where you are on your healing journey, keep going, keep showing up. And of course, as always, I'm wishing you high self worth and great relationships. I'll talk to you soon.